So multiple U.S. states, including Texas, Georgia, and Oklahoma, have enacted or enforced bans on major pornography websites, places like Pornhub. And this has followed years of unaddressed reports of illegal content, including rape videos and child sexual abuse material. Now, while these platforms were repeatedly asked to remove the content and to implement age verification systems, some of the operators just chose to shut down access entirely within those states. Now, faced with mounting legal pressure and FTC investigations, many porn sites have opted instead to abandon these markets rather than to comply with basic safety standards, and in doing so, they left behind a vacuum, a demand for erotic content that feels more accessible and far more legally safe. Now enter Twitch. Twitch does not host explicit pornography, but it does monetize softcore performance through cosplay, through ASMR, and through parasocial intimacy. It is considered by many to be a work-safe alternative to Pornhub. You don't have any nudity, there are no age gates, and there's very little legal scrutiny. And what you find there is flirtation, cleavage, and a curated vulnerability, all wrapped in gamer culture and in influencer branding. So where Pornhub had failed to sanitize its content, you have Twitch, which has succeeded by repackaging eroticism as entertainment. And that's where you get streamers like Amiru, like Amaranth, or Extra Emily. You know, people who don't need to show a lot of skin in order to sell you a fantasy. Instead, they perform emotional accessibility. They tease a proximity that isn't really there, and they also cultivate your desire through their online personas. And of course, Twitch profits from every frame of this. So what you have here is a market substitution for Pornhub. Because as Pornhub and various other explicit platforms have collapsed under legal pressure, Twitch has come in to fill that gap. They're not cleaning up the pornography market, but they're reframing it. You're told this isn't porn, that it's just chatting, or that it's just community engagement, but the mechanics are all the same. You have an effective commerce, all optimized for engagement, but sanitized for advertisers. The truth is, Twitch has largely become a haven for e-thoughts. Thought being a slang term used to describe women who use online platforms to gain attention, to gain followers, all to procure income through sexualized content or behavior. It is a modern-day prostitution. Now, like I was mentioning before, the way Twitch works is that because many of the hardcore aspects of pornography are banned by the platform, many of its users therefore get around that by constructing softcore characters that blend flirtation. You know, they make themselves vulnerable or accessible. You know, they'll present you with a girl next door motif, maybe a gamer waifu, or someone who's very chaotic, oh, but she's so cute. They're personas that are all built to allow erotic undertones without so much explicit content. You know, all the visuals are suggestive. The women wear low-cut tops, they cosplay, and they wear gym clothes. All things that can be reframed as fashion or fandom. Then add certain backgrounds, lighting, camera angles, and you have something that's all been optimized for the allure while staying within Twitch's guidelines. All in all, Twitch, as it is used today, is a testament to just how pornography doesn't need to be explicit in order to be effective. People can cultivate emotional intimacy through chat interaction and personal storytelling, after all. They can even read sexually explicit stories without showing you anything, all complete with verbal suggestiveness, something that is arguably more dangerous than visual media, all because it works on your imagination.
Cold acid for 2. Don't ask Kirsha about sounding.
Why are you like this?
Such a strange thing.
I find articles to talk about on stream when I'm not doing like something specific like bridge. And there are an insane number of people who decide that it's a good idea to put things inside their urethra.
Yeah.
Mostly, it's like 99% men, but there's this one woman who gave all of them a run for their money by losing a shot glass in her urethra for 7 years.
Now, this kind of material is lucrative today because it attracts the type of person who just craves emotional intimacy, connection. The type of person who will eventually convince themselves that they have a special bond with a streamer. This is parasocial behavior. And needless to say, it is the kind of behavior that platforms like Twitch and OnlyFans and even Patreon are all built off. It is a parasitic behavior elicited by many low-status men and some women. Now, this brings us to what happened with the streamer Emiru. Emiru is a popular Twitch streamer and cosplayer who was assaulted during a meet and greet on October 17 at the San Diego Convention Center. You had a male attendee just up and approached her on stage, grabbed her, and attempted to kiss her. Now, of course, Twitch has issued a public response to this, and Emiru has also stated her own reactions to all of it, but all of this is just talk until something legally is done. What I think should happen is Emiru should sue the platform and/or just leave. And if she doesn't, well, I don't know how you can expect the platform to change. Hasn't it been made abundantly clear that the CEO, Dan Clancy, is just absolutely incompetent and is quite possibly a huge pervert himself?
Alright guys, I am not a trained professional. Don't try this at home.
You want to explore clips?
That's very nice.
And now you have a clips feed. Okay? Suppose you want to check out the stories to see what you missed yesterday. You click there, and now you're in your stories feed. Okay?
Okay. That's very nice.
Yeah.
That's also...
Hasn't it been made abundantly clear that the platform in general seems obsessed with covering for their golden boy, Hassan Piker, who can seemingly say whatever he wants to and even abuse animals on stream, and yet somehow retains his position on the platform to this very day?
America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it. I'm saying it.
We're there to partner with them. We're not there doing our own thing. We're there partnering and training
In a video
and
game.
equipping and enhancing their capabilities. So that's part of what we're doing. And the other part is just knowledge. We want to know what's happening.
Like, we fucking totally brought it on ourselves, dude. Holy shit. We did. We fucking did. In a video game.
Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby.
Shouldn't this all tell you that the entire platform is irredeemably corrupt? And so this begs the question, why would Twitch's users just allow themselves to be continually abused this way? It's beyond me. Is the money just so good you'd be willing to relinquish every shred of human dignity you have left? But anyway, that's not even what I wanted to talk about here. What I do want to talk about is how this whole incident was a predictable outcome of a platform architecture that rewards the kind of parasocial obsession, sexual commodification, and the emotional volatility of low-status individuals. Low-status men in particular. Now, Twitch's public response, is full of platitudes, zero tolerance, and community safety, but all of that is laughable. Because the thing is, they are deliberately avoiding the deeper truth. That the platform thrives precisely because it cultivates the conditions that make such incidents inevitable. Twitch is not a neutral venue for content. It is a marketplace of effect where streamers, especially women, are incentivized to perform intimacy, to be vulnerable and accessible for an audience that has been algorithmically trained to mistake attention for entitlement. So you have this whole rise of e-girls or e-thoughts. And this does include VTubers, is the logical endpoint of a system that monetizes male loneliness and longing for connection. For anyone to pretend otherwise is to ignore the whole economic and psychological mechanics that underpin the entire creator economy. The whole security failure at TwitchCon was the result of an ideological and moral blind spot. Twitch cannot admit that its most profitable demographics are also its most unstable. To do so would require acknowledging that the platform does feed off the dregs of digital society. Men who lack status, who lack structure, and self-discipline, but who also possess just enough disposable income and emotional desperation to fuel the parasocial machine. These people are not outliers. They are the core audience. Now, the refusal to confront this reality goes beyond cowardice. These people are complicit. Twitch's business model depends on the very dynamics that make its conventions unsafe. The platform cannot reform itself without also undermining its own profitability. And this is why I don't believe anything significant will even be done as a result of this. Instead, what will happen is people will feign surprise, as if it is any wonder that an obsessive fan would turn physical when presented with his dream e-girl in the flesh. The fact of the matter is, Twitch is not a platform that connects communities or empowers its creators. It is a digital coliseum that exists solely because the algorithm favors streamers who tease access through, their cleavage, their cosplay, their ASMR, and all their erotic storytelling. That's what really drives engagement. Viewers aren't just watching people play video games anymore. No, they're projecting fantasies onto performers who are trained to reciprocate just enough to keep the money flowing. Twitch might pretend this is all a community, but it's not. It's all platform-sanctioned erotic labor, all optimized for profit and shielded by terms of service that ban explicit sex, but reward everything that leads up to it. And that's really what pisses me off about this whole story. This shit happens and everyone does have the audacity to act surprised, like, oh, we didn't realize these parasocial perverts were capable of this kind of behavior. We just thought they were nice, common, everyday family folks who donate money because they're huge fans of video games. Yeah, get real. Now, I do think things will change in the future, but the change will be slow and arduous. A process brought about by the platform just sloughing off users over time, because ultimately I don't think the platform can change unless its user base changes, which is not something that will happen overnight. Now, something could happen if, say, Asmongold and One True King suddenly all decided they were going to leave the platform entirely and stream exclusively on X and on Kick, but instead let's build the worst case scenario here. What'll happen is that more women on the platform will face increased harassment and a higher emotional toll, even as they have a greater pressure to perform. And anyone who refuses to perform will lose their visibility, all the while those who comply will then risk their safety. Then more incidents, like what happened with Emeru, will surface, and Twitch's failure to act will become a pattern of behavior. And while you'll have viewers and media call them out, Twitch will just respond with more PR gestures and very little structural change. And ultimately, it will remain a platform where degeneracy is normalized and its creators are disposable.